The new D&D killer is born is a silly phrase. D&D is an established game with years of story and lore and context and cultural impact. I believe this phrase was imported from video game headlines that people kept talking about the new WoW killer. And it's been years and it has not happened. I think part of the reason why it hasn't happened is because people put too much pressure on new games. New games lack years of context, years of cultural impact, years of building a bond with their players. If we stop speculating on if a game is going to be the next D&D killer or WoW killer, maybe we would give them breathing room to actually mature and evolve and maybe one day get there. But the constant pressure of you must be better than this established thing is actually hindering the industry, I believe. The thing is, no game will be more widely accepted than D&D overnight. Although there are a few exceptions to the rule, usually when they are impacted by localization. And I speak from experience because in Portuguese, we are now facing a very interesting situation where the newer generation of role players is actually not being introduced to the hobby through D&D. They're being introduced through Ordem Paranormal, which is a system from a Brazilian designer and streamer, very, very big streamer called Cellbit, which through this game of his has actually implemented a new gateway into the hobby that was now just basically monopolized by D&D through all media like Stranger Things and Big Bang Theory and all of that, where we see the representation of the game. But in the Portuguese-speaking communities, we are now seeing that people don't know Critical Role, but they do know Cellbit. They have not played D&D, but they come to conventions asking to play Ordem Paranormal. It's a beautiful phenomenon, and I think it will shape how this newer generation approaches other systems. So I'm very curious to see how the hobby evolves here in Portugal, because suddenly it is okay to have two very big systems. It is okay to accept that other systems exist and maybe try them out. We are seeing that shift already in Portugal. We're seeing that people come and know D&D and know Ordem Paranormal, but because there are two staples already, it's easier to say, oh, what about this third system? I think you'd like it. You want to try it? While as before, I felt like people were like, no, I only know D&D. I want to come and play D&D. Please run D&D for me. Anyway, I'm very curious to see how the situation evolves. And if you have a similar situation in your countries or your language, do let me know. I'm super curious about this entire topic. But this is also culturally dependent, that I still think that the sentence,